Hello everyone, this is Ashley Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. For today's card, I really wanted to use this piece of patterned paper that came in the Simon Says Stamp June card kit. I really love the colors on this, that it's more like a pastel kind of rainbow. So I used my Fiskars trimmer and I just cut out 3 different strips from this paper. Next, I took my Hero Arts Cloud Infinity die set and I cut out a whole bunch of clouds using my Big Shot. You'll see that I did cut one cloud out of vellum, but I don't end up using that cloud. I just end up using the white ones. I used my ATG gun to glue down 2 of the little strips that I cut out of the patterned paper. And I'm just adhering those to a white piece of cardstock. Once I get those glued down, I'm just going to take my scissors out and cut off these ends that are hanging off the edge. Next, I used some foam tape to adhere 2 of the clouds that I cut out. And I'm just going to pop those up right on top of those patterned paper strips, so it's going to kind of look like there's a rainbow coming down from the clouds. I took my Tombow glue and I'm going to use that to adhere another cloud on top of each one of these 2 clouds. Not only does this add a little bit more dimension to the clouds, but it also hides the inky fingerprints that I got on the first 2 clouds. I'm sure that all of you card makers out there can relate to the feeling of seeing a big fingerprint in the middle of your work when you finished it. We all find our little tricks on hiding it, right? So right now I'm using my Misty tool and one of the clouds that I cut out, and I'm going to put my sentiment right on this cloud. And this sentiment is a couple of the stamps from the Simon Says Stamp card kit, and it's going to say, "Sending lots of love and hugs." And I used my Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink to stamp this sentiment. I just got this ink when I bought the kit, and I have to say that I really like this ink. Going from the Color Box ink to this one, you can really tell the difference. It's a great ink. With this cloud, I'm putting 2 layers of foam tape on the back because I wanted it to be really popped up. Because what I'm going to do with the last strip of the patterned paper is I'm going to be popping that up, and I wanted the cloud to be a little bit higher up than the strip of paper. So that's why I used 2 layers of foam tape on the cloud. When I put that strip on, it was a little bit skewed, but luckily I didn't press down all the way, so I was able to move it to make it straight. Okay, so for the card base, I pulled out this piece of Simon Says Stamp Smoke cardstock. This is the piece that came in my kit, and I cut it down to card base size and just adhered it right onto one of my pre-made card bases. And I did end up having to trim that a little bit. I usually have to trim things a little bit because I'm not super precise when I measure things, because I go too fast. But that's okay, it's easy to trim things. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my card bases I always make them ahead of time, and I just have a really big box full of them. So when I sit down to make card bases, I make a whole ton of them and I go really fast. So that's why the measuring gets a little, you know, a little messed up every now and then. Anyways, I adhered the panel with the clouds on it onto the card base, and then I started my finishing touches. If you've seen my past cards with clouds on them, you know I always have to add Wink of Stella whenever I have clouds. So I went over each one of these clouds with my Wink of Stella brush to give them a little bit of glitter and shine. Next, I picked a few sequins out to put on the card. I grabbed some clear sequins and some white ones, and I'm going to use my Tombow glue and some tweezers to put those on. I have been using my tweezers instead of my pick-me-up tool lately, and that's just because that's what I've been liking lately. I'm sure in the future I'll probably switch back. Sometimes I just get in moods. To finish up, I just added some really small dots of my glossy accents. I like to do my embellishments in groups of 3 usually, so that's why I decided to add those. This card is really quick and easy to make, but man, I love it. I love this card so much. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you love this card as much as I do. All of the supplies that I used can be found in the description down below. I'll be back on Monday with a new card video. Until then, I hope you have a great weekend.